Calligraphy is when you have that nice hand-drawn look to letter forms, where you have a nice thick and thin variant as you write. Now, if you've ever gone to a traditional art store, you'll find that they have calligraphy sets in them that give you that ability. We can create our own calligraphic brush right here inside of Illustrator, and we can apply it to any stroke that we create. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go over here to the brushes panel, and I'm going to tear this off. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a brand new brush. So I'm going to go to the pop-up here, and I'm going to choose New Brush. As you can see in the New Brush dialog box, our very first option is Calligraphic Brush. I'll go ahead and say OK. And this brings us to our Calligraphic Brush options. I'm going to rename this Calligraphic, and I'll put mine here so I know this is my brush. And we're going to come back to these options in just a moment. Here's our new brush, and as we hover our mouse over it, we see the name. Now what I'm going to do is create a stroke with the brush. So I'm going to take my paintbrush tool, and I'm going to simply draw out a stroke like so. And as you can see, it is based on this particular brush that we just created. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to double click on our brush so we can change the way this stroke looks. So double click on our new brush, open up the Calligraphic Brush options, and what we can do is change some of these parameters. If you want to see your changes take place right away, enable the preview by clicking here. Well, the first thing we can do is we can change the roundness of our brush and the angle by using this little arrow here. And you'll get a preview over here as to what our new brush is going to look like. So if I take this guy here and squeeze it, you see that we get a very thin stroke here, and I can rotate it, and we could change the angle. And you'll notice right away we're getting some feedback on our stroke over here. Just take a look over there when I move this around. I'll go ahead and increase that again so that the roundness is completely round, and now it's flat again. I'll put it at a nice angle like so. Now, one of the things that we can really do to make this brush very unique and look like a calligraphic brush is we can change these parameters here from fixed, which makes everything uniform, to random. Likewise, if you're using a Wacom tablet like I am, you can put it on pressure so that as we draw and press down, we are able to change the angle, the roundness, and the diameter. But for now, we'll choose random, and we can change the variation. So if you look over here, we're getting a lot of changes in the stroke. It's very thin here, it gets thicker, thin, and so on. Let's do the same thing with roundness. We'll make that random, and we'll change this as well. And likewise, diameter. So you can see right away that we have a much different stroke than what we started with. It's nice and thick here, thin here, and so on. And you can always change it at any time. So I can say OK, and then I can click Apply to Strokes, and now we have this new variant. Notice also that our preview has changed. So if I create a brand new stroke, you see that it's going to be applied to this. And if I click on the selection tool and click on our line and choose this one or this one, those will be applied as well. But for our own custom one, we click on this guy, and now we have that nice calligraphy feel.